Well, again, good morning, everyone. And I thought it would be interesting since we're in the passage of scripture from Luke chapter 18 that Luke describes Jesus healing a blind man. And so every time I come across a passage in scripture for the last 5 years, since I have known Larry Gassman, I think of Larry Gassman. And I thought it would be interesting and also probably somewhat informative for all of us to hear from someone who is actually blind relating to this passage of Jesus healing a blind man. So, Larry, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Mike. I'm glad to be here, even though it's via remote. But it is what it is.
Now, just so you
Somebody's got to
know,
take the cruise.
that's right. Just so you all know, Larry is as you're looking at this, Larry is either getting ready for or is on a cruise with several other people from Magnolia. So he's enjoying life right now.
Very true. And looking forward to it every time I get the chance.
Okay. Well, again, Larry, thanks for joining us. I thought it would be interesting for those that don't know you so well, if you could just briefly tell us how you became blind.
Briefly is going to be tough, but I'll do it as quickly as I can. I was not born blind later in life. I was born blind and was premature, 2.5 months premature, as was my twin brother. And we were born blind. And so when we were born, I think I was 1 pound, 10 ounces. He was 1 pound, 8 ounces. We were 13 inches long. And my late wife used to say to her nieces, they were both about the size of a macho burrito. We fit in the palm of my dad's hand. And so 2.5 months premature, we were in the hospital for 2 months. And eventually we got to 5 pounds. And they said, please, somebody take them away. Get them out of here. And they did. And we had a great time. And we're very fortunate and blessed to be alive, actually, by
Mhm.
most accounts.
Yeah. I'm sure there are so many other details that we could ask you to share about growing up
Oh, yeah.
and how you developed the skills that you have now developed in order to get by as a blind man in a seeing world. That's probably for another time. But as we come to the passage in Luke, can you share feelings, thoughts, when you read stories of Jesus healing blind people? What comes to your mind as you read this?
I'm amazed that, see, for me, I think it's a natural thing. That's what he chose to do, and that's what he did. And if the people surrounding him had faith in him and faith in what he was going to do, whenever I heard of somebody blind being healed, I thought, boy, that's great, that's exciting, and especially because there's got to be obviously some faith involved, and I always inwardly applauded the person being healed, especially if they had faith that was very obvious.
So you tend to center on the faith of the blind man, and that's pointed out in the passage where
Yeah.
Jesus says, "Your faith has made you well."
Hmm.
Um, doesn't I would guess it makes you wish, hey, that could be me.
Um, no, not really, because I've been blind since birth. That's 70 years and a few
Mhm.
months ago. So I am perfectly content being blind. That's how I grew up. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure that I could handle being sighted now because the way I perceive, well, for a lot of reasons, but the way I perceive things is quite different than the way you perceive them. Whether it be color, whether it be shapes, whether it be what people actually physically look like, my idea as to what people may look like is totally different than yours. And when my wife was alive, she had sight before she went blind, and we had
Mhm.
long conversations about the perceptions of someone who was sighted versus the perceptions of those who are blind, who never did regain sight. So no, I don't think I'd really want to deal with all that because it would be huge. I'm very happy right now being blind for the rest of my life because I've adapted.
Very, yeah, that leads, I think, to the next question I had, and that's this. What do you think being blind has brought to you by way of perhaps advantages as it pertains to your walk with Jesus?
I think in part it has brought me trust as well, because when I decided long ago that I wanted a relationship with Jesus Christ, I knew there was trust involved. He wasn't going to be somebody I could walk up to on the street and say hello to, but based on what all the things I've read and based on just dealing with the fact of the miracles that I believe in that he has done, it's still centered on faith, and uh, and I have had thoughts in the past, as have we all, because none of us are perfect. Gee, I wonder if I'm making the right decisions. But always I come back to the fact that if I put my faith in him and put everything in his hands as I do, then I'm on the winning side. I'm the
Hmm.
one who is actually going to make out best by my relationship with Jesus Christ.
Hmm. That's wonderful, Larry. One more question, and that is, do you have any other thoughts to share on this passage that you think would be helpful to people who will who will hear the rest of the message today?
Well, only that some people by nature doubt, and some people by nature uh, have, yeah, but what if? And I don't think that's a bad thing to have in some respects, but I think based on what I've read in the Bible, I think sometimes you have to give in to those kinds of feelings, and put your trust in God and know that everything that happens is going to be okay and He's on your side.
One final thing. I know I just said that about the last question.
Yeah, yeah, we know.
That's this. The first person or thing that you see is probably going to be Jesus. What are your thoughts about that?
I have, first of all, I have no clue as to what He will look like, and but I believe that my life as a blind person will be wiped away. I don't even know that I'll be cognizant of it. Uh,
Mm,
I, I'm not sure about that. But I just assume that, I mean, I can't fathom what that will look like. I have no clue, and I have no clue visually as to what heaven will look like. I have my own thoughts, but it might be totally different, and I'm just waiting for that to
mhm.
happen.
Yeah. Well, Larry, man, there is so much more we could talk about and be really interesting. And I think we've set it up for maybe another discussion for another time that we could probably post to our Magnolia YouTube page or website just to get some more of your perspective and to hear um, how you have gotten by in this world. But I am always amazed every time I see you. You are a great inspiration to me, and your faith is very not only commendable but awe-inspiring to me. So thanks for meeting with us today and giving us some of those perspectives.
You're very welcome.